This is great. Maybe you could tell me about your research there.
All right. I'll just, in a nutshell, what the science project is to monitor the population of Adelie penguins in the Ross Sea area, which is not where you're coming, but we're on the eastern side of Antarctica, and we're monitoring what happens with the population, whether the colonies are getting larger or getting smaller, what's causing that shift in populations, and then, of course, individual birds, how long they live, and things like that. And what we're seeing is a trend for the shifting of populations more and more south as the sea ice dynamics change along the northern Antarctic Peninsula area. So the colonies up there are almost gone, and there used to be a lot. And then my job with the project is to do education outreach. So I connect with classrooms just like you do and kids all over the country and around the world to tell them about penguins and about Antarctica and about climate change and how it's affecting Antarctica and the penguins. So that's my job.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm wondering, probably a lot of people have seen that terrific movie, The March of the Penguins. Are those the types of penguins that you're studying?
The March of the Penguins, and yes, of course, it was an extraordinarily popular movie. It was wonderful. That was about the emperor penguins. They are different. They are different from the Adelies in that they do not come to land to reproduce. They stay on the sea ice, and they do not build a nest. They just lay their egg and hold it on their feet in their brood patch under their feathers. So they do not require land to build their nest, whereas the Adelies, which is the group we work with, must find bare land with small rocks on it in Antarctica. So that's kind of tough for them to do since this continent is mostly covered with ice. But both of them are the true Antarctic penguins. They require ice to live, so as the ice changes, then these penguins are going to have to adopt to that.
That sounds pretty interesting. I'm wondering how it is. How did you get into this research, and or what your story was? How you got to Antarctica, and how you were a teacher. You are a teacher. Where you were teaching, and how this all came about.
David has been monitoring the penguin colonies since the 60s, so it's a long-term project just to see what's happening to these populations over time. And I became involved. There was a program that put teachers onto scientific projects like this to do the education outreach so that we could basically translate the science. All of David's information goes into these scientific journals, and they need people like me to translate it to the, let's say, the common person, and of course children, and to open their eyes to the larger world out there. So I amplify the audience that he has for his research, and that's my job. So I got into this about 10 years ago, and now this is all I do. So I'm no longer actually in the classroom, but I come down here and do this kind of work, which is extraordinary gift for me, extraordinary, and I love it. I'm very connected to it.
Yeah. And are you there for 3 months, 6 months for the summer season, or how does that work on Antarctica?
For the Antarctic season, I come down in early October, and I'll be leaving next week. So about 3 months. And the chicks, we're here starting at the beginning of the chick hatching, or the egg laying time, through the time that we call the fledging, which means they're on their own. Their parents are gone. We band them at that point, and once we band them, then we leave because we throw them out in the sea, and there they go, and we hope for the best and hope that we get to see them when they come back. A large part of that is to see individuals over time because we put these bands on them, on their wings. So how about you?
Yeah, we're about 1,000 miles from Cape Horn at the moment, a little to the northwest, west-northwest of Cape Horn, and about 5 days to go to get there and get around. And we've been at sea now for 73 days since November 9th. and I guess we've got about over 18,000 miles we've gone so far. We still have a lot to go.
How are you doing?
I'm hanging on. It'll be good to get around Cape Horn. I think we may have one last storm there, but maybe we can get around before that gets there. Just tired. It's been a long trip, and particularly across the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, we've had an awful lot of storms, and the fleet is very spread out. But I think the boats in the sort of second half and even the sort of the last third, which is the group that I'm in, I think it would be fair to say we got more bad weather than the leaders did, and so it's been a long haul. But we have a big school program going on as well, and that's really the motivating factor for undertaking this effort. And we've got 50 newspapers in the U.S. publishing a series that we produce each week, a feature that we produce each week, and they then distribute those newspapers to schools. So we have a connection that way as well as through the website. And that part of it's been great because we have a terrific, also a group of we call our team of experts who are back on land, who are also writing for this series, and they are scientists and professors and maritime people, and it's a pretty interesting group of people. So kids can therefore see different types of career paths maybe that they'd want to pursue, or just they get exposed to different things in the world they wouldn't ordinarily be exposed to. So that's the motivating factor for me, for sure.
Oh, fantastic. I think it's so important what you're doing, and it does touch children, so I absolutely applaud you on that. I'm sorry that you're tired, but I know it must be absolutely grueling what you're doing, but it's a wonderful, very special outreach that you're accomplishing. Have you touched the Southern Ocean yet? Have you been into it yet?
Well, we have pretty much since, for the last 2 months probably, since we came in from the South Atlantic and south of South Africa, and then we've come across the Southern Indian Ocean and then the Southern Pacific Ocean, south of Australia, south of New Zealand, and we go south of South America, of course. So we've been down here in sort of probably 45 south to 55 south. Since I don't know whenever it was I went past South Africa. I have to look in the logbook. I can't remember, but probably at least 6 weeks.
Oh,
at least 6 weeks. Yeah.
Oh,
no, we have not. Some of the boats have. They've gone further south. When we got to Kerguelen, a lot of the fleet went south of Kerguelen, and I did not. Just for safety reasons, and they have placed on the race route what they call ice gates, which are lines of latitude between 2 points of longitude, and the intention there is to keep you above where icebergs have been detected by a special satellite system that's trying to detect icebergs now, and it's a sort of experimental program. And so there were, I think, 7 or 8 ice gates along the way, and I passed the last one a couple of days ago, and I'm now coming down towards Cape Horn, and then they are tracking the icebergs as well that they've detected, and so those get sent out to the fleet, and those go on to the sort of the standard computer program that tracks where you are on the chart. So you can see the other boats, but you also see the icebergs at least the icebergs that have been detected.
Are you fishing for your food?
No. The boat generally is going too fast, averaging 10.5 knots, and most of the boats have been averaging higher speeds than that, so it's too fast to fish, and it's probably too inefficient also. it probably take as much energy to catch a fish as it would as you get out of it, I think, at this point. So, but it has been amazing. I mean, the one thing that I wish I had with me was a book on the birds, because we've had all the way from when we got into the Southern Ocean off South Africa there. We've had albatross with us, and it looks like different species of albatross. A lot of different kinds of birds around the boat a lot of the time. Certainly across the Indian Ocean and the early Pacific, or the Western Pacific, and just magnificent. Big, huge albatross, and then down to some very much smaller birds, and all magnificent. And I wish I knew what they all were. I guess that's one thing that's missing in the ship's library.
That's always wonderful to be able to identify the birds. Have you seen any penguins?
No. We did have just one night. There was something in the water that made a rapid exit from the surface and left a whirlpool. I kind of thought just something sort of gray. I don't know what it might have been, but didn't see anything really very close up. We have seen whales before on other passages off South Africa, but we haven't seen any so far this time.
Are there any impressions you have of the Southern Ocean that you can tell this ocean is different than the other oceans you sail in?
Well, I guess coinciding with what I said earlier about the number of storms that we had, it's just gray and windy and big waves and cold, and gray and windy and big waves and cold, and on and on. So it's been pretty, that part of it's been pretty difficult. Not too much blue sky, not too much sunshine. We actually have that today, which is really unusual. But it was pretty hard go across the Indian Ocean. And I've been in touch with a ship captain, a friend of mine, who has been on that route for many years, and he hates the Indian Ocean. Worst place in the world to be.
You're going to be glad to get out of it then.
Yeah. Well, get a little bit more, and then we'll be out of here in the Pacific. And I think the other thing that was difficult was just that we had a group of boats that were all within a couple hundred miles of each other. And so from time to time you'd chat with them on the satellite phone, just like we're doing now, or email, and just kind of keep tabs. And everybody was in the same situation, and it was nice to have someone there who kind of understood what you were going through. And fortunately, those other boats had problems, and they've had to drop out. So I'm just by myself coming across the Pacific here, so be really happy to get around Cape Horn.
And you expect to hit Cape Horn in when?
4 to 5 days, probably 5 days.
4 to 5 days. Okay.
Yeah, from now.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep your thoughts.
Yeah. There are two. We have a pretty comprehensive website, but the Vendée Globe website also is quite comprehensive, and so you can find out just about anything there. So we shall see. Okay. But so you're heading back, and where are you based in the U.S.?
I'm from California, a town called Fresno, and I still work for my school district there, but I'm not actually in a classroom because I'm gone 3 months out of the year to do this, so it's too disruptive to be in a classroom. But this is my world now, and I absolutely love it, so it's very exciting. Has there ever been a time? Yeah. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Has there ever been a time when you wished you hadn't started the race?
Yes. I mean, I think there's for a variety of reasons. But once the ball is rolling, then you really have to keep going and complete it as best you can. So just trying to keep on here. I think it's the boats are very, very physical, and I was in exceptionally good physical condition before starting out, and very tired now, and having to be very, very careful. And I think also we really wanted to bring in, and we thought we had a very good prospect to bring in many overseas newspapers into our program. I had gone to the International Newspaper and Education Conference 2 years ago. We had newspapers from 37 countries that were very interested in this back then. But then to convert that into getting them to actually publish a series, as we have the papers in the U.S. doing, didn't work out. So we don't really have the global reach that we hoped we would have. I think what's hardest for me on this is just being tense and nervous 24 hours a day.
You are the only one there, so you are always on. You're always
yes,
on.
Exactly right. But we are making progress, and we're making some good miles today, and hopefully this will continue. We'd actually, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get on because we had a big squall come through with 50 knots of wind about 2 hours ago, and there were 2 squalls on the horizon that were looming, that were coming up, and just probably 10 minutes before the time for the call, it became apparent that one of them was going to go on one side of us and the other was going to go on the other side of us. So I really lucked out on that one.
Good. Glad you could sail right through them.
Yeah. But I'm sure there'll be another one coming along with our name on it. It might be here now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to cut this short, I think.
Okay.
We've got something going on up on deck. But anyway, it's been great to meet you, Gene, and good luck with your research and safe trip home, and maybe we'll catch up on land sometime.
Okay, thank you, and you take care too.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, be safe.
Bye-bye.
Be safe. All righty, take care. Bye-bye.